So I've seen a lot of really unhinged stuff on live streams on Twitch and YouTube over the years. But the live stream that I saw yesterday, if you'd told me that Caleb Hammer was going to admit on a live stream that what I said about him in a video was true in regards to the text messages, I'll pull up the text messages right here. The text messages that I showed of him wanting to hook up with various different teenage boys, right? This one where he took a screenshot of a 16-year-old and asked another person in the group chat if he was gay because he's hot and he wants to hook up with him, right? And then there was a 17-year-old where people were telling him, Caleb Hammer, he's 17. That's disgusting. You shouldn't try and hook up with 17-year-olds. And Caleb says, I don't care. Caleb says, I would shove that right down his throat where it belongs, right? If you had told me that Caleb Hammer was going to admit to that incredibly creepy and kind of pedo type text, he was going to admit that those were all real and he said all of those things on a live stream, I would not have believed you. There's no way that a large creator is that stupid. But I would be wrong because Caleb Hammer actually is that stupid. He admitted to all those text messages. We'll go into more detail in the text messages later in the video. But he admitted to all of those being 100% real and authentic in a live stream he did on his live stream channel yesterday. Why he would admit to that, admit to some of the most disgusting things a person could possibly do, and all of these text messages I showed, and he's like, yeah, those are all real. Why you would do that, I don't know. Maybe Caleb Hammer was dropped several times on his head as a child because no intelligent person would ever admit to that, right? If you were intelligent, if you were a large YouTuber and you were intelligent, there's two options you would take. If I had made those texts up, if I had fabricated those in some ways, which I haven't because Caleb has now admitted they're all real. But if I had made those up in some way, the smart thing to do, since someone is accusing you of heinous acts, would be to sue that person because this is false and this needs to be taken down. I need to defend my name, right? If they're real, which Caleb has now confirmed they are real, if they're real, the smart thing to do is to shut up and never speak about it. That is what an intelligent person would do. Caleb Hammer is not an intelligent person. So Caleb Hammer went on a live stream and he was like, yeah, it's all true. Now, the reason that he gives as to why he decides to tell this story and be like, yeah, all those text messages that were shown in that video, they're real. The reason that he gives is, I was just joking, guys. I was just an adult joking about wanting to hook up with little 16 and 17-year-old boys, which, in my opinion, doesn't really make it all that much better because most adults know not to joke about stuff like that, especially if you're, someone incredibly famous. You shouldn't be doing stuff like that. Caleb Hammer, though, in my opinion, and I'll show you later in the video, I don't believe those text messages are jokes at all, and I don't think anyone can make that claim once I show you, which again, these are all now proven to be true. I'll show you later in the video that I don't think there's any way he could claim that these are just jokes. But with that being said, let's take a look at the clip of Caleb Hammer somehow shoving his own foot so far up his own ass that you can see it in his throat. Let's take a look at it.
Thing that they think makes me look like a bad guy. The thing they think bothers me is when when I make jokes, a bunch of jokes with other people making a bunch of rage baiting jokes in a group chat from like a decade ago. And they think that bothers me in the slightest. Like, we don't say in our content, especially in our Hammer Elite membership, the literal most degenerate fucking crazy jokes, just as crazy as those. It's like, I don't understand these people. They just want to do creator is bad. Mm-hmm. I hate creator is bad no matter what. Reddit does not care. No one that works at Reddit doesn't care. Mm-hmm. It's so weird. I will never understand it. It is the most unemployed behavior. But again, like a text group chat where everyone's making insane crazy jokes and then they screenshot just mine, and it's just like, oh, Caleb Hammer bad. It's just like, that has to always be the reality.
All right, so there's a lot to break down in that clip. I don't understand why someone would blatantly throw themselves under the bus like that, but let's break it all down. So the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that Caleb Hammer can't do basic math, and I really don't know why anyone would take financial advice from a guy who can't do basic math, right? He says that those texts from the Snark subreddit, they're actually from me. We'll go over that. But he says those texts from the Snark subreddit were from 10 years ago. They're not. They're from 7 years ago. And you can clearly see that in the text when Caleb says that he's attracted to these 16 and 17-year-old boys, the other members say, Caleb, you're 23 years old. That's gross. Now, Caleb is currently 30 years old, I believe. So that would make those texts 7 years ago, not 10. So either Caleb Hammer can't do basic math, or he's lying to try and make it seem like he was a lot younger when he said those texts. I don't know which is worse, the fact that people, you know, a YouTube channel that's a finance channel that has 2 million plus subscribers can't do basic math, or he's lying to cover up that he's attracted to teenage boys. I don't know which is worse. You can make up your mind about that, but clearly it wasn't 10 years ago. Now, the second thing I want to point out is the fact that Caleb Hammer doesn't want to admit my name, that those texts came from me. If you don't know, I put out a video about 1.5 years ago, and I was the one who uncovered those texts and first showed those, and then those texts got uploaded to the Snark subreddit, but they haven't been talked about on the Snark subreddit for Caleb Hammer in over a year. I talked about them again in the new video I did on him last week, so clearly he is referencing my video and not the Snark Reddit, since I was the one that uncovered all of those text messages. He will never mention me. He never mentions me in that video. And in fact, if you actually go to his main channel or the live stream, and I tested this on a second channel that I have, if you go to his live stream or the main channel and type in my name, it will not come up. My name is banned, all right? So Caleb Hammer, who claims that he does not have paper-thin skin, he's tough as nails, he doesn't care what people say about him online, has gone out of his way to completely ban my name from all of his channels to make sure that no one can ever reference me, or you know, no one will ever reference the video that I did exposing him, right? That's insane for someone who doesn't care, Caleb. I thought you don't care. You said that in the clip. I don't care at all that people are exposing me. Clearly you do. Caleb Hammer has he is the most paper-thin skin on all of YouTube. If he got a paper cut, I would be worried for him bleeding out. Now, to be clear, that's not a threat. I know Caleb Hammer likes to claim people are threatening him. I want to make that very clear. I'm just saying he has paper-thin skin. So Caleb Hammer, don't make any claims I'm threatening you, Caleb, because I'm definitely not. So don't do that. All right, so next up, let's go over the fact that there is no way that Caleb Hammer or any of his fans could possibly claim that these text messages that I revealed of him liking children, 16 and 17-year-olds, are just jokes. You can't make that claim. I'll show you. And again, I could show all of these. These are completely confirmed to be real and legitimate by Caleb. I don't know why he ever confirmed this, right? There were a lot of people in the 2 videos I made about him. There were fans of him that were defending him, saying, these texts are fake. You made them up. There's no way Caleb Hammer would say that. Caleb Hammer admitted to it. I don't know why he did that. He's an idiot. But he admitted to all of these. So if any other YouTubers want to show these text messages, you can show this, and you don't even have to use the term alleged. You don't have to use that because Caleb admitted 100% real. You don't have to say these are allegations. These are him confirming text messages that he said that he was attracted to 16 and 17-year-olds. So you don't have to say anything like that. But Caleb Hammer claims these are jokes, and let's go over why, in my opinion, these can clearly not be jokes, right? So the first one I want to show, right, is the one where Caleb Hammer is attracted to a 16-year-old. And the reason we know, I believe this is not a joke, is because this didn't start out as with a conversation from Caleb just being like, oh, I like kids or something like that. What happened was, and I talked about this in the first video, if you don't know how Snapchat works, basically, if you're friends with someone on Snapchat and the person that you're friends with takes a photo on their phone, a screenshot of one of your images, it gives you a notification that that person took a screenshot of whatever image they took, right? So multiple people were in this group chat that I've shown several times now. This was a band group chat, or a school. He was in a composer school. So these were all composers in this group chat together in college, right? And Caleb Hammer took a screenshot of another person's Snapchat of his underage friend. And so the other person called Caleb Hammer out in the group chat. He said, Caleb Hammer, why screenshot? And he shows the picture of the 16-year-old boy that Caleb Hammer took a screenshot of. And Caleb Hammer responds with, he hot, is gay, please. And the other guy responds with, he's 16 and no, fucking perv. Caleb Hammer responds with shame. So I don't know how Caleb Hammer can claim that these are just joke messages from 10 years ago when we know they're not 10 years ago. And we know this wasn't a joke. He got called out by another member for taking a picture of his underage friend, and Caleb Hammer said He's hot. Is he gay? There's no joke there. What is the joke, Caleb? You got called out for doing something inappropriate, and you doubled down and said the kid was hot. There's no joke there, okay? It doesn't make any sense that he would make that claim. Now let's pull up the other one, of the one where he found the 17-year-old hot. Now this one is, again, he took pictures of another group member in the chat. He took pictures of their Instagram, where they were all together at some sort of event a few years ago. And Caleb Hammer posts the picture in the group chat. I can't actually show all the kids' faces. And he says, back left, who is that, right? And he keeps going on about how he wants to know who the guy in the back left is, right? So there's several people in the photo. The group members go back and forth. They don't know who he's referencing. So he shows another photo where it's just one guy in the picture. And he says, your third pick, just one person at a table. He asked the guy, I can't post the person's name. He asked the guy in the group chat, the Instagram friend that this guy is. He says, who is it? And the other guy says, Caleb's boy crush. And Caleb says, I would like to personally stick my penis in a hole of his. Any hole will do, thank you. The other person responds with gross. And then the guy says, dude, he's like 14. Caleb responds with, nah, probably around the other group member's age if they were there with him. And then the other group member responds with, he's 17. And Caleb says to chat, and if 17, it's legal there, it is here. And the guy responds with, Caleb, you're 23, that's gross. Caleb says, not really. When I'm 50 and I find a sexy 21-year-old and I could be his sugar daddy, I will do it, or his sugar daddy, or her sugar daddy. Both my parents' sets are 10 years apart. 6 years is nothing. I would shove that right down his throat where it belongs. Another member goes on to say, it's something if they're underage. Anyone under 16 is. Caleb Hammer responds with, believe it or not, 17 is not under 16. And then one member responds with a meme saying, oh, you're serious? Still not an adult? And Caleb says, I fucked too many people when I was not an adult. Just trying to save you from trouble. Caleb says, if something is not against the law, there would be no trouble. So there is no jokes there. Like, it's very clear that he is not joking. It's very clear that he's attracted to these young boys and wants to hook up with them. I don't understand how he can claim that these are just jokes. Now, like I said, Caleb has now confirmed these are all real. The smart thing to do would just be to not say anything since he knows they're real. I don't know why you would confirm these are real. Obviously, people in your audience, my video that I put out a week ago has like 95,000 views, I think, right now. He has like 2 million subscribers. So the majority of his audience has never seen this, has never even heard of these allegations. So for Caleb Hammer to go on a live stream and be like, hey, yeah, those text messages of me thinking little boys are hot, yeah, those are all real. But they were just jokes. Just jokes, guys. Even though they're not, according to me, because it's very clear he wasn't joking. Now, aside from that weird admission, that incredibly creepy admission, Caleb even talks about the what I referred to as Poopgate in the past video that I did. If you don't know, there was a commenter on Reddit who claimed that he was a former roommate of Caleb Hammer and back in college. And Caleb Hammer, when he moved out, smeared his own poop all over the shower wall, right? Now, that person on Reddit verified through email that he actually knew Caleb, right? But there were a lot of people online in the comments of that past video being like, hey, people can say whatever online, maybe it's not true, right? Caleb admitted that guy, that poster on Reddit, was actually legitimately his roommate back in college, although he claims that he didn't actually smear his poop on the wall. Let's take a look at that clip.
My favorite thing that I've witnessed is someone saying that I smeared poop all over my junior year college apartment. I'm not going to name the guy. He was my actual roommate. My PR found he is my actual roommate. It's kind of funny, but he says that I smeared, like, what is he getting out of this? I really don't know. But I smeared poop all over my bathroom before I left. My dad and my friends, who I believe included Robert in this office, all helped me move out of that apartment my very last day I was there. I.e., not only did they likely go to the bathroom in my bathroom, but they helped me move things from my bathroom. If I had a legendary wall of shit, they would have all seen it and smelled it, and I would have also been gagging and throwing up anywhere if anyone knows me.
Now, all right, again, like I said earlier, Most people on his channel, his 2 million plus subscribers, have never heard of the allegations that I made. The only person talking about Poopgate was me in the last video, right? So if Caleb had never mentioned Poopgate, his audience would be completely unaware of it. He didn't need to talk about it, but instead he confirmed that, oh yeah, this random person that's posting on Reddit about me saying that I smeared my poop on the wall, yeah, that actually was my roommate back in college. But he's lying. He was my roommate, but he's lying. Why would you admit to that, Caleb? Why would you just not talk about it ever? Just be like, hey, I'm never going to mention that. My audience will never find out that there's a person claiming, a person who legitimately knew me, I admit this guy legitimately knew me, is claiming I smeared my poop all over the walls back in college. Why would you ever admit to that? Caleb Hammer is honestly one of the biggest idiots on all of YouTube. I really don't know, right? Now, finally, I want to mention, and I want to say this before we go further into this, I don't care what anyone's sexual orientation is. If you're straight, if you're gay, if you like everyone, that's cool. I really don't care. As long as everyone is a consenting adult, Caleb, a consenting adult, I really don't care what you're into, right? One thing I want to mention about Caleb is how Caleb is a grifter. I mentioned this in the past video I did. Caleb grifts that he is a straight man to his audience because he primarily targets people on the right. And for whatever reason, I don't think this is necessarily true. There are a bunch of people on the right that are perfectly accepting of gay people. But for whatever reason, Caleb believes that because most of his audience is now on the right, he has to present himself. He has to lie to people that he is a straight man in order to get a bunch of views, in order to get people to like him. There is plenty of evidence that he is not a straight man, right? Let's show the clip of his most recent video where Caleb goes over how he knows a bunch of what's going on Grindr.
Again, I have a little Grindr knowledge. I like to do my research. You know, I'm an educated individual.
We need to explore this a little more. I need to know like what your experience is here with men.
Have a good Christmas.
Yes.
Do you like movies?
Yeah.
Have you been with a man?
Yeah. No. What? No.
You talk like you've been on Grindr before.
No, I just find things very funny. But once I go through and the lore, we know the lore. If you're black on Grindr, you get blocked immediately. I'm getting a head nod from Colton. It's usually no blacks, no fatties. You qualify in the fatty. So that's why you're not getting laid on Grindr. It's this is Grindr lore. You get a DM, you get excited, you're like, oh, I can feel my asshole buzzing. I guess consent is flexible in the gay community.
Now, why a straight man knows the ins and outs of Grindr, which is a gay app, I really don't know. I've never used Grindr. I'm actually a straight man, not like Caleb, who pretends like he's a straight man in order to get more money and get more views from the people that he thinks won't support him if he comes out as bisexual. But Caleb knows everything about Grindr. I really, really don't know why. And there's also all of the texts that I just showed. We just went over this. Caleb admits these are all real, that he was attracted to teenage boys. And there's actually another text message that I can now show and we can go over. I talked about this briefly in the first video, but we'll go into more depth now that Caleb Hammer wants to, be a grifter and pretend like he's a straight man when clearly that's not the case. All right, so in the group chat, all of the people, there are several members in this group who actually identify as gay, and they were talking about their different favorite gay adult stars, right? And Caleb responds with, Kyler Moss used to be my favorite adult star. I wish he didn't stop. He stopped a few years back. Now my favorite is Joey Mills. Joey Mills is such a twink bottom who can really take and swallow right? Why would a straight man ever say that? I've never watched, if you're into that, again, that's fine. But as a straight man myself, that's not something I would watch or know any of the names of gay male stars like Caleb Hammer apparently does. And then later in the text messages, the different guys are kind of joking around about their favorite adult stars, but they're not actually posting anything inappropriate because this group is, it also has minors in it. So we'll go over that in just a second. But then later it says, it's all fun and games. One of the guys says, it's all fun and games until Caleb posts a picture of Joey Mills getting smashed, right? And then Caleb goes ahead and he posts a picture, which obviously I can't show, of two men going at it. And he says, haha, changed it on you. It's Joey Mills topping, right? And then the other people, obviously, they all freak out. One guy says, damn it. The other guy says, why delete this inappropriate? And they start freaking out. and they try and get Caleb to delete the message. And the reason for that, like I mentioned earlier, is because there are underage people in this group chat. It wasn't all adults. And so the fact that Caleb posted an actual adult image of two men smashing to a group chat that has children in it is not okay. Okay? So Caleb Hammer is disgusting and very clearly not a straight man. He even says, there's another audio message from Zeke, which again, Caleb has confirmed this is 100% legitimate as well. He talks about how he's only about 90% straight.
I'm a personal finance dude. I don't really know anything about that. 2, I'm straight. I'm like 90% straight. I've definitely fooled around because I'm open-minded. And you know, when you get drunk, whatever. But you know, so, and this is like a man-on-man thing. But essentially, I think, well, from the conversation I had with him, the pay will be dependent on what you're willing to do, and what you're willing to do is set by you. So what he would like to do, you guys make out. He would like to do that. What he would like you guys to do, him fill you up. He would like to do that. You can say no about any of these. He would like to play with your dick. And see, that's why I didn't want to type this out either, because that's like weird for me to say. I don't, you know, it's not like we're friends or anything, but that's what he wants to do. He wants to give you a blowjob. I was also told and confirmed with him that your face would be hidden, blurred out and hidden. Your identity would be hidden. And then if you wanted to give a blowjob, you could. Again, you would make more from that, and you know, he would eat your butt, and you would make more for that. You can say no as well. You know, you could top him, he could top you. Whatever you're willing to do comes with more money, but you could literally do nothing. You could literally just lay back and let him just touch you for the video. And I guess for some reason his subscribers love that.
So I don't understand why Caleb has to feel like he has to lie to his audience and present himself as a straight man when there is plenty of evidence from myself as well as other things that he has admitted to showing that he's clearly at least bisexual, right? And again, like I said, I don't really care what anyone's preference is for their sexuality, but I don't like Caleb Hammer, the fact that he is a grifter, lies to people about a bunch of stuff, lies, you know, all the stuff that he's talked about over the time is just complete lies. And that he would grift on his audience and be like, oh yeah, I'm a straight guy, even though there's plenty of evidence that he's just lying to try and get as many views and money as possible. And for whatever reason, he feels that his now mostly right-wing audience will not support him if he comes out and admits that he's attracted to men. Again, there's nothing wrong with that in my opinion, but don't be a grifter, Caleb. It's very clear that you're a grifter. But there you go. I never thought that we would get to the point where Caleb Hammer would openly admit on a live stream that the text messages I showed of him being attracted to 16 and 17-year-old boys were legitimate. I don't understand how you could do something so stupid. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think about Caleb now confirming those text messages are all real? Let me know down below.